Hi, folks. My name is Stanley Santire, and as you probably know, because I'm sure that your instructor has told you, I'm a lawyer, and one of my primary fields is labor and employment law. As a consequence, of course, I deal a lot with human resource professionals. Now, the subjects, actually, in a sense, I was asked to address two subjects, but they actually come together in a very interesting way. One is affirmative action, and the other has to do with sexual harassment. Now, let me show you how these really fit in together. Affirmative action actually has two parts. One is the one that you as HR professionals usually think about, and that's the whole idea of outreach programs to maximize the pool of people that you bring into the workplace to get diversity, and then hopefully find the best person amongst that group. That's what we typically think about insofar as a lot of affirmative action programs. But that's only half of the picture. Before we get to the other half of the picture on affirmative action, let's talk about just real briefly the idea of sexual harassment. Of course, the whole idea of any type of harassment is, and this is the way the lawyers put it, is somebody being treated in a way that's offensive to a reasonable person, except for that particular individual. In addition, it is something unwelcome to that particular individual. Okay, that's basic sexual harassment. Now, the second half of affirmative action actually comes into play with the concept of harassment, because the second half is actually being affirmative in what you do after you hire people, once they are in the workplace itself. Being affirmative in the way that you manage them and the type of environment that you create within the workplace. Now, part of that, of course, is to create an environment, and this is a major responsibility of human resources, is to encourage a management that nourishes people, nourishes them as individuals, and tries to encourage a concept of mutual respect and dignity amongst the employees. And that has to do with harassment, because the more you nourish that type of an environment, the less you're going to get into the whole idea of going so far on the mistreatment of people that it flips over into something that is illegal as a form of harassment. So that means, from your responsibility, what you want to do to be in an affirmative way. Don't expect other management to do this, and don't expect people to just do it, just because they feel good about other human beings. You have to affirmatively establish a good policy that people can understand, what your policy is about the way you treat people. Establish an encouragement of management that listens to people and treats them as individuals. Encourage management to be very responsive to any type of situation that either is brought to their attention, or, and this may be the most important form of affirmative action, not wait until people complain, but actually reach out and observe what's going on amongst human beings. And of course, there's the affirmative aspect of training people, and then, of course, having a good reporting procedure, which is that situation where you do have harassment coming up or that arises, where people can feel comfortable in coming, most importantly, to you as human resource individual. One of the problems that I find with human resource folks, sometimes they look upon themselves more as defenders of management, when really what they're supposed to be doing is nourishing a good workplace. So that's the bottom line. And let me just close with one, and this is a piece of advice that I give to any of my clients, and one time or another, hopefully early on in the relationship. When it comes to guys like me, lawyers, being involved with you as an HR professional, if you nourish the relationships with your employees, if you are affirmative in dealing with potentials of harassment arising, sexual harassment, disability harassment, whatever it is, the more affirmative you are on that, the people are not going to be looking for reasons to sue you. In fact, they're going to let you slip on a few things here and there if you happen to make a mistake on your way you deal with wage and hour or whatever it is. But I will guarantee you, if people are mistreated, if you do not nourish that mutual respect and dignity, if you don't try to nip in the bud early on the type of behavior that can lead to harassment, people are going to look for reasons to sue you. And what they're going to do is they're going to come to a guy like me, and they're going to say, Mr. Santire, I am being mistreated, I'm being harassed, whatever it is. And even if it turns out that the evidence is not strong enough for me to tell them that you have a case, because people can be jerks in the workplace and not cross the line and be illegal, If I sit there and talk to them long enough, there's a good chance I'll find something that they didn't even know of that was going on inappropriately, and I, or a guy like me, will have a case. But they wouldn't have been in that room in the first place if they'd been properly managed. And that is the primary responsibility of HR, because it is only HR that thinks along those lines. And I just want to share that with you. I mean, that's my general philosophical perspective. I enjoy very much sharing this type of information because in this way I get to contribute something that people usually don't think about a lawyer. They think as lawyers the only thing that we do is deal with things going to court. And that is where we make the most money, quite frankly. But the reality is I get a great deal of satisfaction in helping management, particularly HR, in creating a positive workplace. And I really appreciate the opportunity that the University of Houston has afforded me to share this with you today. Thank you.